Hi caregivers, today's topic is setting up a home gym. As always, the information provided should not be used as a substitute for advice from appropriately qualified licensed practitioners of medicine, psychology, ADA, law, or financial planning. On the expanded disability scale, today's topic is a level 2, which is minimal disability. So the purpose of setting up a home gym is to really mimic your physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, and then set it up in a home environment so that it's easier to get to and a little bit more accessible. And then also look to set it up to make sure that you're setting it up for either a rehabilitation or something that you might have a situation where the patient is on a decline. So for resources, you always want to consult your medical professionals, your physical therapy trainers or occupational therapy trainers, and then there's lots of resources on the internet. So for your home gym, what I would recommend is ask your doctor to set up an appointment for, again, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, so you know what's needed. And initially, we were going to different gyms. Some of them were affiliated with different medical institutions. Some of them were with the medical institution, but they were in YMCAs or private gyms. So you just want to understand kind of the difference, and sometimes it's good to get a little bit of variety on, in the external environment, because once you have somebody that becomes homebound, those types of exercises will transfer to the home environment. So you want to look at if you have a space that's close to where the person is most of the day. So even if they're in a living room watching TV, you might want to put the home gym there. Don't try to set it up in a basement or a garage. It's going to be a situation where, again, if you're in a rehabilitation state, you might be able to do that where it's easy for the person to get to, but you want to make it as easy as possible in order to get that physical exercise. Set it up by someplace where there's TV or music, and then make sure that the equipment is adjustable and safe. You might want to have grab bars around the equipment so that it's easy to get on and off. Set up the equipment so that it will carry over to the next stage of a positive or a decline, and then change it out when it is no longer safe. So these were the top items that we used from the physical therapy training sessions. The first one was a balance ball and some foam rollers, really to concentrate on making sure that the balance was maintained. We did get swim noodles because he had quite a bit of exercise walking in the pool using the foam noodles so that he could retain memory, so that it was just easier for transfer mobility and memory retention, muscle memory retention. There were straps, and that was easy to use, in a better chair to kind of straighten out legs, help with some of the spasticity. We used an old Bowflex, so we had a Bowflex from before. Probably hasn't been on the market for probably 10 years, but the Bowflex was really nice because it used the resistance band, so it was similar to weight machines, but it was a lot easier to move, manipulate, didn't take up as much room, a lot lighter, and a lot easier to do the exercises. And then we have a recombinant bike. Ours does not have a swivel seat, but I would highly recommend that, especially for somebody who is declining, because that was one of the reasons why it became harder and harder, was because the seat, it was harder for the person to stay in the seat. And then there's a lot of hand exercises, gripping exercises to help with eating, manipulation, things like that. And then the elliptical, we had used a Bowflex elliptical. The sit down would be recommended. We had a stand up, but again, as the decline happened, the sit down would have probably lasted a little bit longer. And then lastly, a vibration machine. And that really wasn't part of the physical therapy as much as it was a recommendation just to keep the lymphatic system going. So initially we had a stand up one. And then with the decline, John uses one that is not a stand-up. He just uses it in a chair situation. So when we hear about a lot of people that have a tragic disease and some of them have a remarkable recovery, it really goes back to, just the mental ability or the mental stamina of, what that person does in order to face the recovery. So really, this quote is so poignant when it comes to that. It's whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, by Henry Ford. So for the Plan, Do, Check Act, it's important to look at what types of exercises are they prescribing for the physical therapy, and then how can you incorporate that in a gym space. Also look at where can you make it the most convenient for the person that's going to be using that gym. Do plan for stages of progress, either again positive or negative, and account for the type of equipment that you're going to bring into your home gym, making safety the number one concern. Check to make sure that you have equipment that works, things that you're not using or things that you might decide like, hey, you know what, the resistance bands don't really work for me. Don't worry about buying. You want to try to, again, minimize things as much as possible. A few things that you use are better than a ton of things. And then adjust your gym as you need for each stage of your disability. So I hope that helps. Kai Green said, if you think it before you can do it, the mind is what it takes to make it all possible. So I hope that helps. Please take care and subscribe for future videos.